Trojan Felly, what's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. Hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, Eric Henderson has did it again. Listen, he's finding talent, big time talent on the defensive line, and USC is absolutely making things happen. Listen, we want to talk about that. Also, I want to talk about Josh Hansen. He seems to be in a serious zone right now as it relates to recruiting. He's doing it on another level. He's found another guy. He's made another offer to another guy, and this is a big time guy. Also, we want to get into the top 25 toughest schedules per ESPN. Listen, this is the most lost in the sauce list that I've ever seen in my entire life. We'll take a look at that last, but let's get into this Eric Henderson information real quick. A big time defensive line guy out of East Mississippi College. Let's go. So this is Xavion Hardy, and he's actually ranked number 1 defensive end in the country. And he was committed to the University of South Carolina. For whatever reason, didn't end up going there. So he has the SEC talent, he has the defensive line talent. But look, Eric Henderson offered him an official scholarship. And look, it's straight up go time. When you're talking about the selection that he does with these guys and how he's able to identify talent, I mean, you're talking about second to none. Hey, let's take a look at just some of his skill set real quick, some of the things he can do, how he can maneuver on that defensive line. And when I think about somebody like him from a defensive standpoint, because he's standing at 6'5" right now, 263, I think more of a Solomon Berg type of guy. You guys know Solomon Berg got drafted in the 7th round this past draft, and he's doing his thing right now. Showed out at USC, showed out in the Shrine Bowl, and now he's successful at the Houston Texans. But let's take a look at Xavion Hardy's film real quick. Let's go. All right, so this is just putting his hands in the dirt. You see some footwork here, and you see he's able to move and groove. And like I said, he reminds me size-wise of a Solomon Berg, and kind of similar type of movement. But you know, if you ever hear this, he actually probably maybe a little quicker with those steps like that. But if Eric Henderson is able to identify this talent, this guy at East Mississippi Junior College, you got to know that this is a talent, and this will be probably one of those diamond in the rough type guys, being the fact that he was committed to an SEC. And as you see here, this was before he actually got to East Mississippi Junior College. He made that commitment, but I guess that fell through. But now USC has the opportunity to get their hands on a big-time guy, big SEC body type guy, and I think Eric Henderson can absolutely secure that commitment, just being that he is the relationship guy that he is. Now, this is Emmanuel Iheanacho, and you guys remember I talked about him a while back, and this is one of the guys that said that USC is his dream school. Now he got an official offer. Let's take a look at that. He posted it on Twitter yesterday. And look, we all excited about this. Josh Henderson is on an absolute roll, standing at 6'6", 345 pounds. He's a massive sized guy out of the state of Maryland. And you guys know, as you see him here, the Baltimore, Maryland area has been good to USC. You talk about guys like Sam Green, Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison. I mean, it's like a DMV pipeline. We have Mobley there. So I think, look, USC could be setting themselves up to be in a good position with this guy here, Emmanuel Iheanacho. And this is an actual post he put up yesterday. He says, blessed to receive an offer from the university, from my dream school, actually, the University of Southern California. And look, for somebody to say dream school, listen, man, we can kind of count that almost as a done deal. This is a beautiful thing. When you talk about a kid this big, his size is just absolutely ridiculous. He probably looks like, you could probably body structure, Emmanuel Pregna has the same type of build, just solid, man. I mean, you talking about being this big and solid like this, I think it's straight up go time. And as you see here, Emmanuel, you see him ranked nationally number 4 in the country, offensive tackle number 2 in the country, and then the state of Maryland, number 1. Maryland has great football. The DMV area has great football. And you see here, he's a 5-star prospect. Also, moving on, Jerome Miles, I announced yesterday in my show that he named his top 10, but I got intel yesterday that somebody actually hit me up and said, Jay, I'm giving you the real facts. He put out his top 10, but his actual top 3 are Ohio State, Georgia, and USC. So look, we're in the mix. This is a big-time receiver, Jerome Miles, out of the state of Utah. has officially put USC in his top. And so look, man, let's pray we get him, because he's an absolute specimen. Somebody that USC can absolutely get. And look, being that he is on somewhat of the West Coast, Utah, I think USC has a real opportunity. Hit me in the comments. You guys tell me what you think. Now here is the SEC Top 25 per ESPN. I'm calling it the SEC Top 25 per ESPN toughest schedule, because you see it's specifically geared towards the SEC. And when you look at all of the schedules, if you notice, the top 8 are all SEC schools. You got Florida, Mississippi State, Georgia, Kentucky, Auburn, and then you got Oklahoma and Tennessee and Alabama. That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my entire life. How do you just determine and come to the conclusion? And this is per ESPN. As I stated on my live yesterday that the SEC is absolutely in bed with ESPN. Now, you look at the rest of this. You look at Georgia Tech, Texas, Purdue, UCLA, Washington, Vanderbilt, Illinois. You don't see USC in there anywhere. Ohio State, South Carolina, Michigan State, Texas A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and then 23 is going to be LSU, and then Wisconsin and Maryland. USC, are you telling me they don't have a top 25 toughest schedule? Are you kidding me? Now here's something I want to show you. This is in reference to, because I told you guys yesterday that the coaches poll always plays a critical part, especially in the bias aspect of it, because most of those coaches are in the regions of southern regions, and so it's extremely biased. And to prove my point, let me show you guys something. So here is something that is part of it. I can't shrink this down, so some of it may get cut off, but this is the number of ranked teams by conference, and you notice 11 in the SEC. Now, how is it that every year the SEC is always on top? Now, you got 2 power conferences, USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon, that merged with the Big Ten, and you telling me that the Big Ten can no longer be equivalent to the SEC? Come on, man. We already know what time it is. And so you got 11 for the SEC with the most ranked teams in the country, then 5 with the Big Ten, and then the ACC has 5, and then the Big 12 3. This is the most biased thing, and so that's why they're able to come up with this calculation of having the most teams ranked, well, the toughest schedules ranked, because they always do this every year. And I kind of pointed it out before. Every single year they put the SEC teams at the top, and so that gives them the strength of schedule, where it's a fraud type of situation. It is a complete fraud type of situation, and the system is manipulated, and that's why we see ESPN now with the toughest schedule, having not even USC in there. That is the biggest joke of the year. Listen, and it's not even April Fool's, but it is April Fool's. But listen, man, hit me in the comments. You guys tell me what you think. You guys already know where you can find me. It's USCJ32 on Instagram. Tell me what you think about that toughest schedule foolishness, and then tell me what you think about the couple of guys that Henson is doing recruiting, as well as Eric Henderson. These guys are absolutely on the case. Both of them are recruiting at high levels right now, and it's straight up go time. Listen, I'm out of here. Until later on, everybody stay blessed. Fight on, fight on, fight on.